Hey there, tubers. This is part 3 of what is apparently becoming a series on hydraulic issues with this tractor. I was hoping that it'd end at part 2, but looks like there's at least part 3 now and probably a part 4 here in the future, and the way things are going, who knows, could be a part 5 too. But on part 2, I'd got the tractor back from the local dealer, and the lift capacity had slightly improved, but the hydrostat was jerky as can be. It was horrible. And they took it back in. I just got this back a couple hours ago, and what they ended up doing is they had it for almost 3 weeks, and all they did was recalibrate it. They couldn't tell me how many times they calibrated it, but somewhere between 6 and 10 times as far as they knew. And basically it's helped the hydrostat. It's better than it was, and by doing that it's also improved the lift capacity. Now, I had a viewer say that hydrostat tractors have 2 hydraulic pumps, and one is for the hydrostat and one's for the loader, but Bobcat has told me that this tractor only has one, and that lift capacity and hydrostat are directly tied together, which was interesting to me. I haven't seen a schematic of this tractor, so I don't know how it all works, but just by them calibrating the hydrostat has improved the lift capacity of the loader. So it tells me that it's all computer controlled, how everything works on this. And the dealership had just gotten a 55-58 in, so we did a side-by-side comparison in at the dealership. They had a bucket in there that weighed 1,800 pounds. They weighed it, and so we lifted each of them side by side. Now, this tractor's got fluid in the tires. The new one didn't. This one lifted it substantially better than it had before, but still not to full capacity, full height. And it was surprising. I wish I could have got some footage of it, but the 58 without fluid in the tires only got the bucket about this high off the ground before the rear tires came off. So fluid definitely helps. So we couldn't do a true lift capacity test just simply because they didn't have the ballast or the counterweight to see what that 58 would do. And it was pre-sold, so they weren't going to do too much messing around with it when the owner wasn't involved. But what I'll do now is I'll go throw my box scraper on the back so that we can do a apples to apples comparison of what the last couple videos have been, and we'll see just how high up we can get that bucket. And then I'm going to do a separate video on some other issues on this tractor and what I did to try and motivate the local dealer into getting stuff fixed. It involved Bobcat corporate, but like I said, I'll do a separate video on that, and for now we'll go see what this thing can lift. Alright, my box scraper is on, and we're going to give this thing a shot. Now at an idle, let's see how high up this thing picks it. So at an idle, we're at about where it was before on part 2 at full throttle. which is an improvement. So I'll just up the RPMs here to about 2,000. And we'll try it again. Gained just a little bit, not a whole lot. So I'll go up to full throttle. Still slowly raising. Looks like it's about it. Yep, that's all she's got. So I'll jump out and I'll measure that real quick and we'll see how it compares to the 7-foot in the part 2. Alright, so from that pin there to the ground down here measures 7 feet 8 inches. So we've gained about 8 inches of lift height by simply calibrating the hydrostat, nothing more. So that tells me that if they continue to calibrate it, that we could eventually get this thing to possibly lift full height with this 1,800 pound bucket and roughly 200 pound pallet forks. But that's still 340 pounds below what it's rated to lift. So we've got a little bit more work to do. I'm going to spin this bucket around because I did have one viewer think that I could lift it higher if the bucket was spun around. So I'll do that and we'll just see if it does or doesn't help it. Alright, we got it spun around, so let's do this again at an idle. It's kind of hard to tell, but I would almost think that it's not quite as high as it was the other way around. I'll go up to 2,000 RPMs here. Didn't gain a whole lot. Full throttle. Not lifting as high. That's all she's got. So I'll jump out here and I'll measure that. Alright, so spinning that bucket around actually made it worse. I think if you look at the bucket, thought the pins were fairly centered, but I think there might be just a little more mass out front in this direction. But we weren't able to lift near as high from that pin to the ground. 6 feet 4 inches, so 1 foot 4 inches less than having the bucket spun the other way. And that kind of is where we're at on the lift capacity. Now with all those calibrations on the hydrostat, it did improve it a little bit, but now I have intermittent cutting in and out. And to me that's more of an electrical issue, but they haven't been able to resolve that, so they're doing more research, and this thing's going to be the most researched tractor in the history of Bobcat, I'm afraid. but still has hydrostat issues, and obviously still has lift capacity issues. So that's part 3 of this, and I guess there'll be a part 4 when we find out what their next move is. And keep an eye out. I'm gonna put out a video about my interaction with Bobcat Corporate and where I'm standing with that. So on that, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.